The Millennium Falcon is one of the most iconic Star Wars vehicles, and will have to have several good LEGO Star Wars sets based on the several depictions of this beloved ship. I decided to look at every LEGO Star Wars Millennium Falcon set and rank them from worst to best, looking at overall quality and personally what I like the most. Of course, videos like these tend to be quite subjective, so let me know what your favorite set is down below. The worst set on this list has to be the 2014 Millennium Falcon Microfighter set. This set was a part of the first wave of Microfighter sets and is still one of the better Microfighter sets ever released. However, this set isn't perfect and there are several better versions, and the Han Solo minifigure with the old styled hair just looks a bit silly, as the more modernized torso print and face print with the older hairpiece just always looks so strange to me. Overall, a Microfighter won't really compete with other Millennium Falcon sets on this list. Following with the next version of the Microfighter, we saw a sequel-styled Falcon in 2018, as seen with the rectangle-shaped radar dish on top. This set was a massive improvement from the previous one, and the inclusion of stud shooters instead of flick-fire missiles looks much better on this build in my opinion. We also got to see Chewbacca as the minifigure, which makes sense for a remake of this set, and this is just overall a better Microfighter than the previous 2014 version. The final Microfighter set is the 2021 version, which I think is a set that wasn't really necessary to remake so soon, although it does make sense why LEGO would want a set like this on the shelf as much as possible. This is once again based on the original trilogy, including a much better Han Solo minifigure with the improved hairpiece. After the inclusion of this hairpiece, Han Solo became one of my favorite characters in LEGO, so being able to get him in a cheap set like this was really nice in 2021. But overall, as it is just a Microfighter set, it cannot really rank much higher than this. The worst of the actual playscale Millennium Falcons has to be the first version of the set from 2000. This set simply looked bad. Sure, it was back when LEGO wasn't as advanced as it is today, but the set still doesn't compete with any other Millennium Falcons at this scale. This set uses only 663 pieces, which today seems so little for something such as a Millennium Falcon playscale set, and the build uses very outdated build techniques. As a LEGO collector or an older collector, you might really like this set as a nostalgic LEGO Star Wars playset, but objectively it just doesn't hold up at all anymore. The minifigure selection, however, is quite nice for back in the day, including almost the entire Falcon crew other than Obi-Wan Kenobi. In 2004, we got the next version of the Millennium Falcon, and this was a massive improvement from the previous set, introducing this newer style of Millennium Falcon build. This is also a really interesting set as it is the only Millennium Falcon based specifically on the Hoth setting, as seen on the box art and the minifigure selection. For its time, this was a really good set, introducing this new style of build with the opening flaps on top of the Falcon, and a much bigger and better build overall, including just under 1,000 pieces. The minifigures in this set was quite good as well, although I think another figure would fit well here. Even just an extra snowtrooper would do the trick. The first mini-scale Millennium Falcon set released in 2009 and was a really good LEGO Star Wars set for a long time. However, today I think it doesn't hold up anymore, as we got to see a much better version of this set, making the set look much worse in a way. For a $40 set back in the day, I think it was quite overpriced as well, with only 356 pieces and no added minifigures. It just wasn't as worth it at the time in my opinion. Overall, it doesn't look that bad, but it doesn't really compete with some of the other sets on this list. The Force Awakens released in 2015, and alongside this movie we got to see several new LEGO Star Wars sets, and one of these was the Millennium Falcon based on this movie. The Falcon wasn't much different in this movie other than the new radar dish piece, which is either a love or hate in the Star Wars community. Overall though, this is a really good set, but I don't think it was much better than the previously released Millennium Falcon at the time, game, and has a generally uninteresting minifigure selection as well, as most of these named characters were available in many other sets at the time. Overall, this is where the Millennium Falcon sets start to become much better sets in my opinion, as all of the next sets are really good regardless of their position. In 2011, LEGO released what I think is one of the most nostalgic Millennium Falcon sets, as the 2011 to 2013 era is just super nostalgic to me and many other LEGO collectors, with sets such as the Falcon, the X-Wing and the TIE Fighter releasing at around the same time. Looking at this set though, at the time it was the perfect depiction of the Millennium Falcon, with all the flaps being able to open up and with several neat little interior pieces. I had this set back in the day and I had so much fun with it, and to this day it is one of my favorite sets in my collection, just unfortunately covered in a lot of sun damage. A really good thing about this set also is its minifigure selection, as it includes the entire Falcon crew from A New Hope, other than R2-D2 and C-3PO at least, and we also got to see Darth Vader in this set, which was a really good addition as well. All the set is missing is that R2-D2 and C-3PO minifigures, then it would have been the perfect set in that time. The latest version of the Millennium Falcon set is the Dark Falcon, that released a few months ago, and it is by far the most unique version of the Millennium Falcon we'll ever see in LEGO Star Wars. The ship is based on the Rebuild the Galaxy TV show, which was a really fun show acting as a what if series for Star Wars. This set is a little bit overrated in my opinion though, and I am not that interested in the idea of a Dark Falcon itself for my own collecting journey. However, I can still appreciate this set as something that we could have never imagined getting a few years ago. The minifigure selection, however, is the highlight of the set, including characters such as Darth Jar Jar and Jedi Vader. One of my favorites is probably the Darth Rey minifigure, as this is actually a canon look for this character we have never seen in LEGO before. Reaching the top 5, I want to look at the Kessel Run Millennium Falcon from the Solo movie. This is a really cool set and an awesome version of the Millennium Falcon, and probably the only time we'll see it in its white and blue color scheme as well. This set also included the front escape pod piece, which can be detached to have the more standard Millennium Falcon look to it. I really liked the Solo movie, and despite what people say about it, it is one of my favorite Star Wars movie. The designs in this movie is really cool, and this version of the Millennium Falcon is definitely one of the really good things that came from this movie, in my opinion at least. We also saw a bunch of good minifigures in this set from this movie that we are not likely to ever see again in modern LEGO Star Wars sets. In 2019, we saw what I think is the best playscale Millennium Falcon, based on the Rise of Skywalker movie. This Millennium Falcon introduced once again a new way of making the flaps that was also seen in the Dark Falcon set, of course, with a more fixed look to it without as many gaps between each flap. In the Rise of Skywalker, the round radar dish made its return, and this is also seen in this set of course, which makes it look so good. And other than the minifigure selection, this set could go either as an original trilogy set or a sequel trilogy set, which is really nice. This set is retiring really soon though, as the Dark Falcon took its place now, but I think soon after the Dark Falcon's retirement we will see yet again another remake of the Millennium Falcon playset, perhaps this time from Return of the Jedi, with minifigures based around that movie. Before we reach the top 3, if you enjoy these videos, consider subscribing, as it supports this channel so much. The latest version of the midi-scale Millennium Falcon is in my opinion the third best LEGO Star Wars Millennium Falcon set, and the best non-UCS set. Well, then again, 18 plus sets are in some way basically just mini UCS sets anyway. This set is simply magnificent, and one of the best sets currently available on the market, and a much better midi-scale set compared to the previous version of this set in 2009. This set is also much better priced for what you get, as I think the $85 retail price makes sense for the quality of set you get in today's standard, and a much better purchase than let's say the Desert Skiff, which is is also around $80. I do think this set needs a single minifigure though. Of course, this would have to be a version of Han Solo, and potentially with the dual molded leg piece that we have seen before, as high quality minifigures in these kinds of sets would just be so cool. Honestly, I would even pay $100 for this set with that one added minifigure. The runner up on this list is the original UCS Millennium Falcon from 2007, and this was just an insane set back in the day, and to this day one of the biggest LEGO Star Wars sets ever made. This retailed for $500 back in the day, and for what you got, it was definitely worth that price. Of course, there isn't much that this set offers that wasn't improved on in the newer version, as it is at a similar size, just using outdated designs and minifigures, and overall it is a magnificent set, but it received a really well received upgrade a decade later. In 2017, LEGO released the updated Ultimate Collector Series Millennium Falcon, and of course this has to be the all-time best LEGO Star Wars Millennium Falcon set and one of the all-time best LEGO sets in general. This is just an insane LEGO set with over 7,500 individual pieces, and it retails for $850. This set is still currently available today, and as far as I'm concerned, it is not set to retire this year either, as I am sure it is still consistently being sold to new older collectors. The build is much better than the previous version, with many added details and just an overall better design, and several interior compartments that just look so cool. This set also acts as both an original and a sequel trilogy set, with 2 sets of minifigures as well as interchangeable pieces such as the radar dish. I do think the minifigures are a bit lacking though, as a full line of A New Hope Falcon crew characters would make more sense for this set, especially as the target audience is most likely original hardcore Star Wars fans or hardcore LEGO fans, who would both appreciate that line of minifigures more. Regardless, this is one of the top rated LEGO Star Wars sets of all time, and definitely the best Millennium Falcon set ever made. If you enjoyed this video, let me know down below what your favorite Falcon is, and then I will catch you in the next one. God bless you. Cheers.